Welcome back to Arena Football Talk. Just two more games for the Rattlers before the start of the playoffs. Go ahead and jump right into it. Week 17, Tucson at Arizona. I do want to lead off with this. I did get a couple of injury updates. Not very often that Coach Guy gives injury updates, so I want to go ahead and throw it out here. Shannon Brooks did have a minor injury. He did not play in this game. CJ Odom came in instead. Trey Farrell tore his Achilles. He is done for the season. And Dylan Winfrey was injured in this game. It was seen as minor, and he was back after the bye week. Anyway, without further ado, here's a scoring summary. Rattlers win the coin toss, defer to the second half, and about a minute and a half into the game, Patterson, a 39-yard rushing touchdown, point after is no good, 6-0 Tucson. It only took 2 plays and 45 seconds, but you have Dalton Sneed connecting with Jamal Miles, who escaped a tackle and went for a 27-yard touchdown, 7-6 Rattlers. Tucson goes nowhere in 4 plays, settles for a 34-yard field goal, 9-7. Then Glenn Gibbons Jr. returns the kickoff for 43 yards, making it first and goal for the Rattlers. A phenomenal start to that drive, and they couldn't do anything with it. Snead couldn't find Jackson in the end zone on second down. Short run on third down, setting up a 4th and 2. There's also an injury timeout. Tucson's number 22 was injured and left the game. He did walk off on his own volition, though. That's a good sign. You never want to see anyone injured. And then on 4th down, his pass for Jamal Miles was swatted away. Turnover on downs. Shortly after was a play where Dylan Winfrey was injured. It looked like he was hit in the eye. The receiver for Tucson was motioning to his eye, so that's what I'm going to assume it was. He did not return in the game. The Rattlers force a 4th down before Patterson found Smith for a 40-yard touchdown, making it 15-7, extending that lead for Tucson. And that's where the score would remain after 1 quarter. Then the next drive just kind of stalled out. The offense just couldn't get a whole lot going. There were some penalties, there was incompletions. Dawson Evans attempted a field goal that was no good. That is back-to-back turnover on downs, and Tucson just kind of had control at this point. Funny enough, looking over my notes, I forgot to mention Devontae Merriweather was playing in Connor Taylor's spot. Connor Taylor was also presumably out with injuries, kind of been in and out of the lineup over the season. Anyway, Tucson, their 3rd unanswered score. This one, Patterson, 6-yard touchdown. The point after was good. At that point, it's 22-7. Tucson is in full control. There's maybe 3 minutes to go in the first half. The Rattlers had to respond. And on the next drive, Dalton Snead throws an interception. That first half was disastrous. Around the 1-minute warning, Tucson elects to just kind of kick it away. It's officially a field goal attempt, but they kick it away. And Jamal Miles with a kickoff return touchdown. He was overdue for a while. I remember when I was first covering the team, it seemed like every single week he was returning one to the house. But anyway, that is a 52-yard kickoff return touchdown. And if I'm not mistaken, I think that was the cartwheel play. On one of his touchdowns, Jamal Miles, he was going down, and instead he kind of did a cartwheel and just got back up and kept going. That was a phenomenal play. I still kind of don't believe what I saw in that play anyway, but we have to move on now. 22-14 at halftime, Tucson with the lead. The Rattlers get the ball to start the second half, and right there, spoiler alert, Tucson would only score 2 more times in the rest of the game. Little under 3 minutes into the third quarter, Jamal Miles, a 5-yard touchdown, making it 22-21. Dawson Evans then hits the deuce, giving the Rattlers the lead to start that second half, 23-22. Sap Lynch, 1-yard rushing touchdown, 29-23. Tucson retakes that lead. Corey Reed Jr., a 6-yard touchdown, making it 30-29, back to a 1-point lead for the Rattlers. Start of the fourth quarter, the Rattlers have the ball back. Jamal Miles, a 28-yard run, making it 37-29. Sheffield, a 2-yard fumble recovery touchdown for Tucson, tying it at 37, before with 5 minutes and 33 seconds to go in the game, Corey Reed Jr., a 3-yard touchdown, making it 44-37. No more scores for the rest of the game. That is your final, and the Arizona Rattlers walk away from this contest with a 10-5 record, an upcoming bye week, and only 1 game remaining in the season. Being right back in that playoff push, that's exactly what the Rattlers needed. That first half, not so much. That was a very, very sloppy, bad, not very good first half overall. It was just a lot of poor football, and Tucson jumped on it. Tucson had a really excellent first half. Gotta give them some credit there. Then the Rattlers did what the Rattlers needed to do, especially with that Jamal Miles touchdown right before halftime, getting them back into it and then just running away with it in the second half. That's what a playoff football team needs to do. And if they want to be a playoff team, well, you got to beat the teams below you, and they did that. Dalton Snead, 15 for 22, 170 yards, 4 touchdowns, and an interception. Overall, really good night. First half struggles, Doesn't matter. Overall, really good night. Jamal Miles, 1 attempt, 28 yards and a touchdown. CJ Odom, 10 attempts, 35 yards. Serviceable effort. It's good to have a secondary back there. Jamal Miles, 6 receptions, 87 yards, 2 touchdowns. CJ Odom, 4 receptions, 38 yards, no touchdowns. Corey Reed Jr., only 4 receptions, half of those are touchdowns, 30 yards. And Nair Jackson, 1 reception for 15 yards. Overall, a productive offensive game that primarily was productive in the second half. On the defensive end of the ball, Jermaine Dobbs had the lone forced fumble on the defensive end. He had a couple of pass breakups, including 2 by Roderick Perry, came in pretty well. A couple tackles for loss, 1 going to Jermaine Dobbs, 1 going to Kevin Symes Jr. And overall, a defense that played well enough. I can't complain, they played well enough. That is your Week 17 matchup. The Arizona Rattlers walk out of their final home game of the season in the regular season, I'll get to that later, with a 44-37 victory, a 10-5 record, and getting right back into that playoff push with the opportunity to get a first round home playoff game. That didn't happen, but the next best thing did, and I will talk to you about that in a little bit later.